Truma, makers of the Combi Heater and iNet system, are proud to sponsor Practical Motorhome TV.
Welcome to Practical Motorhome TV, your one-stop shop for everything motor caravan. Whether you have a camper van, a coach build or an A-Class, you've come to the right place. Coming up, we check out Ludlow Touring Park, have a look at a new layout in Auto Trail's Imala range, and Diamond Dave has everything one needs to know about inverters. Earlier in the series, we looked at a new model in Bailey's Autograph range, which, as everyone knows, has now replaced Bailey Approach Autograph. Still with me? Excellent. And whereas the old models had a number, the new models have a very simplified system of designating them. For example, the van we're looking at today, the 79-4, the 79 stands for the body length and 4 refers to the amount of belted travel seats. Now this layout inside is a new one for Bailey because it's a longitudinal island bed. Previously in the 730 they had a transverse mounted island bed, but there are a few other refinements they've made for this new range. Now the most obvious change are the new engines underpinning the Peugeot Boxer cabs. These are Euro 6 compliant units, and 160 bhp output for a 2-litre engine is a pretty good technological development in anybody's book. Now these cabs are mated to the ultra-low Alco AMC chassis, so the road holding is superior, and also to get in and out of the van is very easy because they're very low to the ground. You'll also notice the new skirts and wheel arches that give the van a purposeful look and actually do make it seem a bit lower than it really is. And there's also a brand new back panel with a light pillar which calls to mind continentally produced motorhomes, a very good touch indeed. Other exterior details of note, there's now a factory fitted wind out canopy awning, and the lockers are now double sealed with the kind of locks you may find on a very upmarket German motorhome. And just to round off the exterior details, how about this? A through boot under the rear island bed, so you can load all your touring kit from either side of the vehicle. And there's a pair of lights in there, which is very handy indeed, and also a power point. Now the windows on this van are different too. The bubble type from the last version has gone to be replaced by a more square design, which really looks the part when you consider it against the visual grammar of the side of the vehicle. And furthermore, on the back is a reversing camera fitted as part of the media pack. Now, of course, the first thing that you notice upon entering the van is how wide it feels. There's a great feeling of space. Now, that's due to some clever design. Bailey have cut back this bulkhead, changed the profile of the overhead lockers, and also the profile of the seat rests. It all makes the whole space feel much bigger than it really is. The soft furnishing scheme in this van is Barclay. It's one of 2 options available. The other one is called Grosvenor, all very upmarket. Now at standard you get this leatherette finish that you can see in the driver's seat over there. And talking about travel seats, the other 2 travel seats in the dinette have these sculpted backs to make long journeys much more comfortable. They're not these vertical seats preferred by some manufacturers. And also, because you can remove one of the false seats on the offside here, you can travel in comfort even on long journeys. Now this lounge section has more than one use, of course. You can also put up a table so 5 or 6 people can get round this area at meal times and snack times. The table itself is very clever indeed. It has 2 legs and it stows in this compartment just in the floor there. Now a bed makes up in this area also. It's achieved by pulling out some sliding slat bases and rearranging the cushions. And if you're wondering, this is the new Dream Sleep technology that Bailey has imported from its caravan range and is super comfortable. Now this midships kitchen really benefits from the tip-up extension at the end of the kitchen unit. It snaps into position with a reassuring click, and in case you're wondering, Bailey is calling this worktop Basil Stone. Awesome. Next to this is a glass lid that provides some other kitchen worktop. Lurking underneath you will find an electric hot plate next to the 3 gas burners. Other kitchen equipment includes a combination oven and grill, microwave oven and a tall fridge freezer with removable freezer compartment. There's plenty of storage on offer too in the form of drawers, and they have this pleasing soft closing action. But perhaps the pièce de résistance of the kitchen storage is in the overhead locker department. Look at this, it's an all-in-one jobby, manufactured by the Italian gods of marine and leisure vehicle cabinet work, Technoform. Check this out for a pleasing action. up it goes on those amazing gas struts. Now I don't know about you, but this locker is crying out to be filled and emptied every time you do this. Or is it just me? Now with a body length of 7.9 metres and that longitudinal island bed that we'll get onto in a minute, the washroom in this van was always going to be a little bit pinched for space. Having said that, there's still plenty in there of all the essentials that you need. A separate shower compartment protected by bifold doors, a very trendy looking sink to wash your face in, a swivel loo and a cupboard to keep your lotions and potions out of view. Bailey has done a very good job of making this rear bedroom very comfortable indeed. It's achieved this from a design perspective by using this brown finish on the side of the wardrobes, for example, which contrasts with the rest of the vehicle. The configuration here is island bed, as we've discussed. You get loads of light coming from the side of the vehicle, from these large picture windows, and also up above from this roof light. A pair of wardrobes flanks the bed, another touch you'd expect from this particular kind of floor plan. In the corner here is a vanity unit with a mirror and a handy cupboard underneath with a plug socket. And behind me, as part of the Media Pack Plus, is a second television. Yes, there's a smaller one in the lounge, but the big one is saved for the business end of the vehicle, in this case the bedroom. Another thing to notice about the bed is that it actually pulls out to radically increase the real estate for the people sleeping there. A very good touch indeed. You achieve this by lifting a rail under the bed and pulling it out. The whole action is very easy. You don't have to be particularly strong to do it. The Bailey Autograph 79.4 is 7.9 metres long, so you'll need a reasonable driveway on which to park it. And at 3,850 kilograms fully laden, you'll need C1 entitlement on your driving licence. Now this new range is a very exciting refresh of a very successful product. Let's not forget that the previous version accounted for 75% of Bailey's total motorhome output. We particularly like the way they've completely reimagined the interior, and the specification list is to die for. There's loads of great stuff on there, from the Audi heating, and the addition of 2 new media packs will find many favours with buyers. This layout, of course, is particularly interesting because it's a longitudinal island stroke peninsula bed that Bailey has tried here, moving on from the 730 in the previous range. If you're a particular fan of the layout and the comfort and convenience it offers, then you need to head for your Bailey dealer, go onto the order form and stick your autograph at the bottom.
The facilities at Ludlow Touring Park in Shropshire are some of the best that you'll find in the area. There are 135 pitches featuring water, electricity and a TV connection, while the site as a whole offers a laundrette, heated washrooms, a children's play area and Wi-Fi for an additional charge. There is full security from the friendly wardens, and the huge pitches are ideal if you want to put up an awning, and it's easy to get to from the nearby A49. The site is open all year too, so you can enjoy a stay no matter what the season, and a quiet, adults-only section is available for those who aren't visiting with children. The historic and popular market town of Ludlow is within walking distance. Don't forget to visit the medieval castle while you're there. Ludlow is known as a foodie's paradise too, so those who enjoy top quality dining will feel right at home here. If you're feeling active, there are plenty of options for cycling and walking in the area. Ideal if you brought your dog, who'll be welcome on site.
Welcome to Ludlow Touring Park. We're a 20-acre site. We've got 135 touring pitches. We've got hard standing, grass, super pitches and RV pitches. And there are 5 bin points around the park. And we have chemical disposal points, and we also have an indoor disposal point that's used during the winter if we have any freezing. Facilities on site, we have a large underfloor heated toilet and shower block. In the shower block we've got a disabled facility, we've got a baby facility for little toddlers, normally under 5. We also have a large shop which carries quite a few camping accessories. We've got a large dog walk area which people are allowed to go up there and let the dogs off the lead as it's all fenced in. There's a variety of things to do and see in the area. We've got good cycle routes, good walkways. We've got Mortimer Forest within a 5–10 minute cycle ride. Also on the town itself we've got Dinham Bridge, which there's a large map there which gives you good cycle routes and walkways in and around the town. And then we also have an extensive information room on site where we've got information on all the places that we can recommend. and we also have vouchers for certain places where we can offer deals to our customers. In the town itself, we've got the swimming pool. It's a leisure centre as well, so there's saunas, steam rooms, jacuzzis, and they also have pamper sessions. Just on the edge of town, we've got Monkey Mania, which is an indoor play facility, and approximately 15 minutes drive away, we've got Mickey Miller's, which again, indoor play facility, but it also caters for adults as well, so they're able to enjoy the facilities with the children. There's National Trust houses and properties within an easy drive, which are also open during inclement weather.
This is our first visit here. I think it's called Ludlow Park Touring Centre, something like that. It's our first time here, thoroughly enjoying it. We seem to have a rather prime spot next to the pond, which apparently quite a lot of people ask for. We got unexpectedly, so it was a bit of a bonus as far as I'm concerned. We've had 2 very good food experiences here, so great place to go out from. And we even walked into Ludlow, so it's quite accessible as well.
This is our first time at this site. It's a very beautiful site with fantastic facilities and very large plots, which is excellent. And it's been so good here, in fact, that we've stayed on for an extra week. We have been to 3 other Morris leisure sites, and each of them has been outstanding in quality and facilities. I will certainly go back to them. We go into Ludlow, and we've been to Ironbridge Gorge, and we've been to Stokesay Castle, which was a fantastic experience. We've also been to Berrington Hall. There are lots of places to go to around here, and Ludlow itself, of course, is a very beautiful little town.
Auto Trail's Imala range offers the DNA of the more luxurious products at a more affordable price point. Since launch 2 seasons ago, we understand it's been somewhat successful. So it goes forward into 2017 with a brand new layout. And this one sports the fixed twin single beds. Certainly a layout du jour. So let's see what they've done inside to make this one work in the Imala range. Now, this parallel lounge configuration will be familiar to anyone who has a touring caravan or is thinking of crossing the Rubicon and taking up motor caravanning instead. It's extremely sociable and bright, open and airy aspect too, thanks to windows on the side of the van and up above a skylight above the cab. There's a real feeling of width here, which is very impressive, and great standing height. If you just look at what they've done in the overcab section where they've allocated it for storage, but there's still this cutaway so that you can stand up in the lounge and get an amazing amount of overhead height, so there will be never any chance of feeling slightly claustrophobic. The cab is well spec'd too. It has controls for the audio system mounted on the steering wheel, which is a great way of being safe on the road. You also get a USB socket, cab air conditioning, cruise control and techno vents in the dashboard. Those are the silver surrounds for the ventilators. As well as that, you get the double cup holder down below, plus the USB and auxiliary inputs. And Auto Trail has a reputation for offering extremely good media packs on its vehicles, one of which supplies this drop-down television, which is ideally mounted for watching the Magic Lantern from the lounge. Now, this galley kitchen has a huge amount of preparation space. Just look at the length of this counter, obviously augmented by the fact that both these lids are in the lowered position. Talking about equipment for a minute, you have a dual fuel cooker, 1 electric hot plate and 3 gas burners, a separate oven and grill, and up above in the overhead lockers, plenty of storage which passes the cereal box test, and there's also racking for your crockery. Down below the worktop, a dual fuel fridge with separate freezer compartment, 2 drawers and a cupboard underneath. Now, none of them are soft closing. This is an affordable van after all. One other detail in the kitchen I'd just quickly like to talk about is the power tower. Now, these plugs would surely be better if they were rotated through 90 degrees. So that way, there's no chance of any cable foul. It's not too bad with this, but it'd be even better if it was spun through on that axis. Now, the Amala 734's rear bedroom has much going for it, not to mention its 2 6-foot-long separate beds. I tested them just now by taking my shoes off, and I reckon they break the tape at just under 6 feet each. Now, you don't have to have this configuration. You can pull out the slats here into the gangway and rearrange the cushions to make a bed that's transverse across the width of the vehicle if you want to sleep together. All very good. Now, the ambience here is spot on. 2 large windows on either side, a roof light up above over the gangway, and plenty of LED lighting in backup. But there is one other standout feature of this rear bedroom. You have the wardrobe here at the end of the gangway. Now, while that is very useful for accessing your clothes without any impediments at all, it does present you with one slight issue when you go to bed in the evening. Night, darling. Darling? Darling? The chances are, if you can't find them, they're probably asleep in the make-up bed in the lounge. Isn't it amazing to be able to film from within a motorhome's washroom? It's not always possible, but it is in the Amala 734, and a fine arrangement it is too. I'm standing in the shower compartment, which is divided from the rest of the washroom space by this bifold door. Up above is a handy rail for drying wet clothes, and in the washroom itself, a half-length mirror, swivel loo, sink under a window, and above that a vanity unit for keeping your lotions and potions out of sight, and a handy roof light up above for letting all the steam and condensation out in a jiffy. The Auto Trail Amala 734 adds yet another popular floor plan to this growing range. Last year's edition, of course, was the 730, an island bed model that at 7.25 metres long has the same footprint as the 734. I haven't seen the prices or the specs for next year's season models, but I understand that the payload could be in the region of 300 kilograms and the price starting from the mid-40s upwards. Of course, that payload, if it isn't enough, you can upplate to 3,650 kilograms if you're a C1 licence inholder. But Amala is a very impressive range, and this model in particular, with the flexibility of those twin single beds that make into a transverse double, has a lot going for it. And you have to ask yourself the question, if the entry-level product is this good, then why bother with anything else?
Today we're going to talk about a little bit of electricery. Electricery, yeah. We take 12 volts from a battery and we make mains voltage out of it. We do that using a device called an inverter. This is 120 watts. So it'll run a phone charger, TV, satellite receiver, something like that. This one's slightly bigger, this one's 150 watts, broadly the same, does the same job. There's 2 types of inverters, pure sine wave and modified sine wave. So what does that mean? Mains electricity is what we call alternating current. That means it changes polarity 50 times a second. In true mains, it's a nice, smooth sine wave. Cheaper inverters like these produce what's called a modified sine wave. What that is a square wave that's then had the corners chopped off to try and make it a little bit smoother. They're useful if you have phone batteries or camera batteries that need charging and you can't get a 12-volt charger for them. This is a way of doing it. Be aware though, modified sine wave inverters can upset some electronic equipment. Some chargers won't work at all on them. Some that will work will run hot. The other thing to bear in mind is that you lose energy with an inverter. The inverter itself takes power to run. So that does 120 watts. It will probably consume 150 because of the power it needs to run itself. Very useful tool, but consider whether you really need one or not. These are small ones. You can get really big units that go up to 3, sometimes even 5 kilowatts, 5,000 watts. So what is a watt? A watt is a measurement of electrical power. Amps times volts equals watts. What you have to remember with inverters is that while they step up the voltage, they also step up the current required, the amps. So what might take 1 or 2 amps on 240 volts will take 4 times that on 12 volts. So you'll use a lot more amps out of your batteries to produce the power to run electrical equipment. So it's worth considering if you really need an inverter. If you do, sometimes it might be for medical equipment. People with breathing issues might need a CPAP machine overnight, and they're only available in 240 volts, so you'll need an inverter to run it. In those cases, it is best to get a pure sine wave. The pure sine wave electronically produces that smooth sinusoidal wave that the natural mains gives us. So that's a brief overview of inverters, what they are, what they do. Above all else, you need to just consider whether you really need one. If you do, get the one that's most suitable for your needs. That's about all. See you next time.
Sadly, that's all we've got time for on this week's show. We'll be back soon with some new van and site reviews, plus technical advice from our expert, Diamond Dave. In the meantime, you can keep in touch with us via our website, Facebook or Twitter. Until next time then, tour safe and take care.
Truma, makers of the combi heater and iNet system, are proud to sponsor Practical Motorhome TV.